So I like watching YouTube videos where people go to auctions and buy stuff, especially farm equipment, tractors, quad bikes, motorbikes, old cars, old four-wheel drives, whatever. I love going to seeing people go to auctions and learning about what they get in, what they sell for in their parts of the world. So I thought I'd share a recent auction that I attended and I bid on everything that I'm showing you, and it just happened recently in my neck of the woods in Australia. Okay, now all prices quoted have 10% GST added to them, so it's plus 10% GST to all prices you see, and also it was all online bidding only. So the auction was online only. You couldn't go and bid in person because of COVID restrictions. Okay. Now I believe you could go and personally inspect the equipment before the auction, like the days before the auction. I'm not 100% sure of that. But I think that was the case. But you could not inspect it on the day of the auction, and you could not bid in person at the auction. You had to bid online only. Okay, but I think the equipment was available for inspection. Unfortunately, due to everything I was involved in at the time, I couldn't go and see it personally. So the only thing I could see was the photos online and the videos where there was a video for the items. Okay, so they're the things I'm going to show you, are the things I bid on, and that mainly had videos. And before we go any further, I'll just say that all prices that I quote in this video are in Australian dollars, and all prices that are the closing bid on the auction are subject to 10% GST in addition. Okay, so you add 10% to the price to pay sales tax. Okay, so that's how it works in Australia. So the first thing I was interested in was these quad bike tyres, 4 quad bike tyres. Now in Australia, we get charged for dumping tyres. So if we take tyres to our local dump, car tyres, push bike tyres, motorbike tyres, doesn't matter what sort of tyre, if we take the tyres to our local dump, we get charged a fee for dumping tyres. And like a car tyre can cost you $11 or $15 Australian to dump per tyre to dump. And that's to handle the dumping fees for the tyres. They send them for recycling, and that pays for the charges for the recycling. So the good thing about that dump fee is we're seeing more tyres get recycled onto auctions like this website. And I was quite surprised to see these tyres turn up. And $120, hey, that's not bad. That's not a bad price for 4 quad bike tyres in reasonable condition with rims. So that's not a bad price. I missed out on those, but that was a good deal, I think. So the next thing I was interested in was this 2002 330cc Polaris quad bike, 4x4, petrol engine, shaft drive. So all nice things to have. A little bit rusty and a little bit well used, but it looks like it hasn't been caned to death. So I was definitely interested in it, and it ended up selling for, and I definitely bid on this one as well. And this one ended up selling for $1,400, which wasn't a bad price. Just a little bit more than I was prepared to spend. I did bid on it, but $1,400 without having a test drive was a little bit much for me. It did have a few faults. The starter motor didn't work, so I had to pull start it. The starter motor needed a new starter motor or a new solenoid, and that was the main fault, I think. So it just needed a jump start, and it had the broken indicator at the front on the left-hand side. So not only sort of fairly sort of minor faults there, maybe a couple $100 and you could have fixed it. Probably needed a new battery as well, so maybe $200 or $300 and you would have had it back up to being a very good quad bike again. So missed out on that one, but it was a good buy, I think, for $1,400 in my neck of the woods anyway. Quad bikes, even clapped out quad bikes, go for $2,000 here, so yeah. There was a video of it running, so I'll show you the video quickly here, or at least part of the video, so you get an idea. But you couldn't really hear the gear changes, or unless you're sitting on a quad bike riding it yourself, and especially more than just around a car park, you can't really tell what the faults are. So that's a reason why I don't bid very much online. But anyway, see what you think from the video. Anyway, for $1,400 around my neck of the woods, that's probably not a bad buy. But anyway, I didn't go through with it. I like to test drive things myself when things get over a certain price. So that's how I go. So the next item up was this Really nice JCB 2013 skid steer loader. Okay, with a Kohler 4-cylinder motor, 2.5 litre, effectively 44 kilowatts, which is decent for a little bobcat. 1,500 hours or little over of use, showing on the gauge. And it also came with 4 spare tyres. Now the tyres are used, but at least they're 4 spare tyres that can get you out of trouble if you need them. Okay, so not a bad little unit. And it did have a little bit of minor damage, but nothing major. And I was watching this one very closely as well. So quite nice condition. Hydraulic hoses seem to be in pretty good nick for a machine of its age. The 4-in-1 bucket, very, very useful with the spare tyres there. A bit worn, especially those top two, but hey, they'll get you out of trouble. And a couple of close-up pictures of the 4 wheels, 4 tyres that are on it. They're not bad either. You know, still got quite a lot of life in them. And the engine looked fine from what you could tell on those pictures. And looked like it'd been reasonably well maintained and no major oil leaks. The inside wasn't too rough. You know, the gauges are all seem to be there and working from what you could tell from the pictures. And you know, no major issues seem to be there from what you can tell from the pictures anyway. And you know, nice and clean inside. You know, the controls are a bit rough, but hey, that's what you expect from a machine that's 7 years old, 8 years old. The main issues that they listed were minor, like the door wouldn't close, so it needs a new spring somewhere in the latch there, and a couple of broken mirrors. So very minor stuff, really, in the scheme of things. Really, I'm surprised they put it in auction like that. I would have replaced the mirrors at least. Just to save people quibbling about that. So it ended up selling for $23,750 plus GST, which was a very good deal, I thought, for my local area anyway. Quite a nice bobcat, spare tyres, a little bit of minor issues. Looked like it's ready to go to work pretty well straight away. I'd give it a service, of course, but nice little machine and a good brand for $23,000, so not bad at all. Interestingly though, there was no video of this machine running on their website. I would have made sure this machine had a video, because it was the star of the show, really, the star of the auction. You know, in the thumbnails for the auction, this is the machine they showed. So I don't know why there wasn't a video. So I don't know if it was running or not. I don't know if there was other issues that weren't listed. I just don't know. So you pay your price, you take your risk, don't you, with an auction, especially when you can't test drive it yourself. So I bid on this one, but I didn't bid anywhere near $23,000 because, again, I couldn't test drive it and I couldn't see a video of it running. So next up, we've got this Fiat 513R tractor from around 1960. It looks like it's in pretty good condition. It's obviously been looked after and kept in a shed. And they sure don't build them like they used to. The new tractors today won't last 60 years. This old tractor, if it's maintained and looked after, could easily run for another 40 years or more if you've got spare parts. 4-cylinder diesel. It's got 7 forward gears, 2 reverse. And it looked like quite a nice unit. Now I'm looking for a tractor that's got a front end loader and a blade on the back. Okay, but I realise I'm probably going to find it hard to find exactly what I want. So I'm prepared to buy a front end loader unit that's got the forks, and I'll worry about finding a bucket later, and I'll worry about finding a blade for the back or the front later as well. So I was quite happy to bid on this, and for a while there, the bidding was quite low, and I was bidding, you know, up until I got over $2,000. I was bidding, but for a long time there, until well into the auction, well into the day of the auction, it was under $1,000 or under $1,100. And I bid up to about 2,000, and then it went to 3,000, and then it went to 3,900, and that was a bit too much for me for this machine, again, because I hadn't test driven it, although this one does have a video, as we'll soon see. And like all these machines, it does have faults, like there's at least one broken light on it, and you know, missing emblems, and the hydraulic hoses, could sure do with replacing, and they're very expensive in Australia. The tyres look good. It's got 2 new batteries. It's got a reconditioned steering box. And it's still got lots of life left in it, especially if it's maintained well, regular oil changes and that sort of thing. Engine seems nice and clean. It's again, it's ready to go back to work. As long as you cherish it and look after it and keep it in a nice shed, you should get a lot of years out of it. Many, many years, decades, if not longer. And the machine does have a video, so we'll watch that video now and see how it looks. So that's basically the video. So it shows you the PTO working the back forks, working the front forks, raising the bucket or raising the forks, and so on, and starting up and driving. So looked like a good tractor, but again, for nearly $4,000 plus GST, I'd want to test drive it myself just to be sure, because where I'm moving to get a mechanic out is going to cost me an absolute fortune. I'm so far out of town. It's going to cost me $500 to get a mechanic out on call, if that, maybe more, and if they want to come that far. So they're going to be coming out, driving out, doing an hour or two's work, and then driving back again and billing me for 10 hours. So I'm going to be very careful what tractor I buy. I don't want to buy a dud or something that's going to need a lot of work, or something that's got lots of hidden surprises later. So this will look like a good tractor, but again, for $4,000, I really need to test drive it myself. So next up, we had a Massey Ferguson 35 gold chassis tractor, included bucket, blade, and forks, and it's a very strange setup. This machine, very, very homemade. Not much information was given about it, what its age was, but when you'll see the photos soon, you'll see it's very homemade. And it went for $3,900 like the other one as well. So it's got a blade that goes on the front, a bucket, a funny old homemade bucket. And it's got funny old homemade attachments here where things have been welded on. Tyres, pretty bald. I mean, they'll get through. They'll last years. Back tyres are pretty good. They're fine. Didn't get to see any of this working. There is a video coming up that I'll show you, but didn't get to see any of this working. Doesn't look like it's been kept in a shed. Although it's got a new muffler and that's not too rusty there, but. Yeah, a homemade roof, and this sort of stuff here down here has all been welded on, and that worries me. Where the front hydraulics have been welded on to lift the bucket. Pretty straightforward sort of tractor. Looks like it's fine. It's got the cold starting instructions there. That's inside the lift bucket, the front bucket. It's got engine looks fine, nice and clean on the outside, or a bit of oil at the back, but. It's been cleaned. Sort of a heavy duty set of front forks, fairly heavy duty, and front forks, and it's got the bucket and it's got the blade that all go on the front. So one hydraulic ram to control it, but this down here is what worries me, where the the welding of the front hydraulics. It looks very unsturdy, and it hangs down well below the tractor chassis, so it'll be getting caught on every rock that goes by, and every time you go over a steep bit of ground, it'll drag in the mud and the dirt. So this is a very high point of wear and breakage here. But anyway, there's a video of it, so let's have a look at the video. And that's all they provided. So you didn't get to see the hydraulics lift the arms, the front forks up and down. You didn't get to see the PTO turning. You didn't get to see the back forks raise or lower. You didn't get to see it drive forward or backwards. You didn't get to see it start. You didn't get to see what it was like to cold start. You don't even know if they jump started or not. You don't even know if it's got a battery or not. So, or a reasonable battery. So, a whole lot of unknowns here. There's no way. Even though it had the 3 attachments that I really like, even though they were sort of homemade, and I had the terrible attachment for the front hydraulic buffers or rams. That was all very dodgy and homemade. It was still an interesting tractor because it had the 3 attachments, but for the same price as the Fiat, I'd much rather the Fiat tractor, which went for the same price and only had the forks. So that was ugly bugly anyway. The tractor, Massey Ferguson gold chassis, but I called it ugly bugly because it was just so ugly. Anyway, probably a good tractor, probably get someone a lot of life out of it, but not for me, because I couldn't test drive it, and the video showed virtually nothing. So I want to see cold starts and driving and running and forwards and backwards and lifting the forks and all sorts of things before I would consider it a real walkthrough video. But that's that one. And the only other tractor at the auction, or bit of machinery, was this Massey Ferguson 2640 tractor. And it said non-operational, but it didn't say what was non-operational about it. It didn't say whether it would run or not. It didn't say whether the transmission worked or not. It didn't say what the issues were. It didn't say anything at all. And there was no video to do a test drive or test run. So it was just basically a few pictures, and that's all you had. So it looked like a nice tractor. It had no front forks, but it had a back forks and PTO, so it could at least drag a plough around, or a plough blade, or a scraper. And so I could do part of what I wanted, but without knowing more information about why it was non-functional, I really wasn't interested at that stage. So, like I say, for me to get a mechanic out to my property, it's going to cost me hundreds of dollars, $500 probably, because I'm so far out of town, and so I'll probably have to pay their accommodation if there's any serious work needed on a tractor. I have to pay their accommodation or put them up in a caravan and provide their meals, and so they can stay out there and do a day's work without travelling for 5 hours. So, so it's going to be very hard for me to get a mechanic. It's going to cost me an arm and a leg. So if something says non-operational and they don't give you any clue at all what it is, then I really can't bid on it at all. So that was a pass for me. I didn't bid at all on this one, and it went for a decent price still in the end. Quite a lot of money considering it's non-working. So that was the last one.